Today we're going after the Platinum Trophy for Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. And guys, I have to be honest, this trophy made me do something that I'm not really proud of. Look, I bought Miles Morales when the PS5 launched and am somehow just now getting around to actually beating the game. I did start the game back in 2020 and even got the first 2 story-related trophies. But I didn't get my next trophies until May 2023 when I finally picked the game back up again. Look, don't judge me. I was too busy with Demon Souls. But now, people of the internet, now is the time we push forward to not only beat the game, but also go for the platinum, especially with Spider-Man 2 on. I'm just a dad who loves platinum trophies, and right now I have 61 of them. By the end of this video, I'm gonna have 62. And as every great trophy hunter knows,
with great power comes great...
No, not that. It's that every trophy begins with a strategy.
A platinum strategy.
Even though it's a shorter game, there are still 50 trophies to collect in Miles Morales, which means we need 49 trophies to unlock the platinum. Estimated time to completion, around 20 hours. Fortunately, there are no missable trophies as even story missions can be replayed. Difficulty does not affect trophies, however, this game does require 2 playthroughs, with one of the trophies being to complete the game on New Game Plus. Step 1, finally getting around to actually complete the game's main story. Oh, and by the way, consider this your story spoiler warning for Spider-Man Miles Morales. The game kicks off with Pete and Miles working together to stop Rhino.
I've got Rhino, but you have to contain the escapees. Right, contain.
Oh my gosh, dude, it's been so long since I'm trying to remember the combat. Even though they're paired up here, Rhino nearly takes out Pete. Miles manages to save the day thanks to his bioelectric powers. We're then introduced to the good guy that everyone knows is totally a bad guy in Simon Krieger. He heads up the Roxxon Energy organization and assures Pete and Miles their team will take it from there. Pete then drops the news that he's going to be away for a while and tells Miles he'll be New York's only Spider-Man for a time.
That oath a real thing.
Totally. Definitely didn't just make it up.
Shortly after Pete departs, Miles investigates a break-in by a group called the Underground. They're attempting to steal an experimental power source from Roxxon known as Nuform. A bit later, we're treated to a lovely Christmas dinner with Miles, his mother Rio, current best friend Genki, and former best friend Finn, who Miles hasn't seen as often since he moved to Harlem. Now, this actually takes place about a year after the first game, so Miles has had a bit of training under Pete, while at the same time he's still trying to get his feet under him as a superhero and trying to balance this whole double life thing. Genki creates the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app, which enables the people of New York to report when they need Spider-Man's help. And just from a game design perspective, I really love how this works both in the world, but also how seamlessly it helps you keep track of quests and objectives. Miles' uncle Aaron Davis is the first to use the app, and at the end of that mission, he confirms he knows Miles is Spider-Man. And I don't know, something's telling me Aaron may have a few secrets as well. Our next big turning point in the game happens at a political rally, and it just so happens this rally is for Miles' mother, who's running for office. Unfortunately, the Underground attacks during this rally, and they have their sights set on a Roxxon transport containing Nuform. Of course, Miles tries to stop them, and in the process, he discovers that Finn is actually the Tinkerer, and she's working with the Underground. He inadvertently blows up the bridge with his Venom power, which is what he and Genki are calling his bioelectric abilities. Not to be confused with this guy. At this, Roxxon turns on Miles, and now he has both organizations after him. Looking for answers to explain Finn's role with the Underground, Miles investigates further and learns her brother Rick created Nuform, but with a nasty side effect that made him very sick. Finn and Rick wanted to expose the dangers of Nuform by going to the public, but Krieger was having none of it. Rick attempted to shut down a Nuform reactor, but Krieger ended up trapping him in the room, and this kills Rick in the process. Now, of course, knowing all of this, Miles wants to help Finn, so he sneaks into a Roxxon lab to try and get her cell phone, which has evidence against Krieger. Oh, and it turns out Miles' uncle Aaron, yeah, he was keeping secrets. He's actually the Prowler, and he reluctantly helps Miles with this task. We do succeed in getting the phone, but unfortunately it's destroyed during our escape. Time for a new plan. Aaron advises Miles to use his friendship with Finn to actually join the Underground to try and figure out where they're keeping the Nuform. Running out of options, Miles actually takes the advice of his uncle and is able to get inside with Finn. Here we learn that she created advanced weapons for the Underground using programmable matter, and in exchange, they're helping her to get back at Krieger. She's ultimately working on a plan to expose Krieger and everything that he's done, but Miles isn't a big fan of how she's going about it. Finn ends up having to leave and take care of something else, which then gives us a chance to do even more investigating, but now as Spider-Man. Of course, we're eventually discovered and have to escape, and completing this whole sequence will unlock the True Deception trophy. Shortly after this, we also took care of the Nowhere to Hide trophy for performing 100 stealth takedowns. So it turns out Finn's plan involves destroying a Nuform reactor at the Roxxon Plaza and exposing its dangerous side effects. As Spider-Man, and we continue to try and stop Finn from going forward with this plan. Eventually though, we hit a point where Miles has no other choice but to reveal his identity to Finn, all in order to save himself, but also hoping that he can help her see reason by talking to her as a friend. This does result in Miles being able to escape, but Finn isn't happy that he's kept this from her, and basically used her to get into the underground. We try chasing her down to explain things further, and this gives us our next story trophy. In between our next main missions, we snag 2 more trophies, one for crafting a visor mod, and another for getting spectacular or better in a spider training stealth challenge. Miles decides to set up a meeting with Finn to try and work things out, but they're both captured by Roxxon with the help from, guess who, Rhino. Yeah, it turns out Krieger didn't take care of it. Shocker. Miles and Finn managed to escape, but we learned the whole reason we were caught in the first place is because Aaron actually told Krieger about the meeting. Turns out, he's been working with Roxxon all along. To be fair, he did want them to leave Miles out of it, but of course, Krieger would not agree to that. Miles also learns that Krieger rigged the new form reactor at Roxxon Plaza to actually destroy Harlem if Finn's plan succeeds. This whole sequence leads up to an epic fight against the Roxxon-powered Rhino. Working together, Miles and Finn take care of Rhino, and here we unlock the exploding bulldozer trophy for defeating Roxxon Rhino. He then begins taunting Finn about her brother Rick's death, which results in Finn attempting to kill Rhino. Of course, Miles knows.
With great power comes great responsibility.
So he intervenes to stop her.
Come near me again, I'll kill you.
When Miles comes to, of course he wants to go after Finn. He's actually captured by Aaron though, because Aaron doesn't want Miles to die like his father. The uncle and nephew clash, and coming out on top of this battle gives us the family drama trophy. So now Miles is free to go after Finn to try and stop her from destroying the reactor. This actually triggers a memory from Miles and Finn's past, and we get a playable section here where the two are trying to sneak into a museum to see the project that they worked on together. As if nobody would notice us doing all this, by the way. We just keep pacing back and forth. There's a little rocket launch minigame that we can play here, and beating Finn unlocks our next trophy. Fully completing this little memory sequence gives us another story trophy to bring our total to 17. Now back in the present day, Miles and Finn battle it out with the fate of the city hanging in the balance. Oh dude, this is so epic! Whoa! Oh my gosh! Just constant dodging right now. Dude, what a fight! It's gotta be it, right? Unfortunately, Miles can't stop her in time, and the reactor begins to explode. Showing his true courage and love for the city, Miles uses his power to absorb the effects of the blast, but he can't hold it in for long. It's at this moment Finn realizes the error of her ways and what she's done. She grabs Miles and flies the both of them high above the city where he can then let go of the energy. This resulting blast presumably kills Finn, and then Miles falls back down to the earth. And of course, he's fine. Krieger gets arrested thanks to Aaron turning himself in and speaking out against Roxxon, and with the whole story complete, we unlock the ultimate sacrifice trophy. It's now time for step 2, challenges.
Go time? Go time.
Here we need to complete all side missions, all app requests, and all of the challenges, like performing a 100-hit combo. We start with unraveling a criminal conspiracy in Harlem, and then crafting 10 upgrades. And once we start knocking out these quests, the momentum really starts to ramp up. We defeat 50 enemies while camouflaged, 100 enemies with venom attacks, and we shut down all underground hideouts. We also ride on a derelict boat, and then we start wrapping up most of the side quests, like collecting all time capsules, collecting all sound samples, and completing all app requests. Around this time, my chat mentioned there was a trophy for completing an entire base without being detected, so I decided to go for that one next. The stealth in this game is really a lot of fun, so I enjoyed going for this one. Didn't take too long to knock it out here. Then we managed to shut down all Roxxon labs, defeated 50 enemies using the remote mine gadget, opened all underground caches, and completed every spider training challenge at least once. From there, we went to complete the postcard side quest, and guys, I have to say, this one turned out to be way more emotional than I was expecting. Turns out, Miles' father left him all these little postcards around Harlem for him to find, and each one contained a little message from his dad, and it all wraps up so beautifully.
Oh man, I was not ready for that.
One of the coolest side missions to complete was the one involving all of the challenges Peter had left for us. The final challenge lets Miles relive Peter's first battle against Vulture.
Get off my lawn! Early bird specials, casual racism that is not worthy to challenge me on.
Too real.
Completing this also unlocked our trophy for 100%ing all districts. At this point, I decided it's time to go after the 100 hit combo trophy. I'd actually come close several times during my playthrough, but usually ended up running out of enemies before I could get to 100. Alright people, the time has come. You have to find out who I really am. When it comes to trophies, some people go into it wanting as great a challenge as possible, while others look for the most efficient and effective way to obtain our digital badges of honor. In this case, I opted for the latter, because if you remember from our platinum strategy, difficulty does not affect trophies in this game. So you can make this challenge much easier by turning the difficulty all the way down to its lowest setting. Now, it's not even really the enemies here that make it easier, it's the fact that your counter doesn't get reset when you get hit. Alright, so there you go. You know my secret. Don't judge me. I turned the difficulty down to the lowest setting and cranked this one out in no time. I also used this same little area here to get the up and over trophy for performing a venom jump and venom dash on a single enemy, and then the from downtown trophy to throw an enemy into a group of 3 or more using venom dash. I knocked out the trophies for performing 25 wall takedowns and 25 ceiling takedowns. At this point, I had yet to get one of the easiest trophies in the game, which is where all you have to do is apply a sticker and change the lighting while in photo mode. That one was easy enough. Then we paid our respects at Jefferson Davis's grave, scrolled through the entire social feed, and then paid our respects to the legend himself, Stan Lee. Now, even after achieving 100% completion and doing all these app activities, crimes will still appear in the app. There are 11 of these different crime types, and each one has a set of 2 objectives you need to complete for the Crime Master trophy. The hardest part here is really knowing which ones you have and haven't completed. The only way to see if you've done the challenges yet is to actually start the mission. I completed quite a few of them already, and most of these were easy enough to do. Oddly enough, the one that gave me the most trouble was the stolen vehicle one, where you have to take no damage at all for the whole mission. I kept getting hit in the air as I was approaching the vehicle, but it was mostly just fatigue at this point rather than the challenge actually being difficult. Eventually though, we wrapped this one up for trophy number 45. All we have left is the trophy for purchasing all suits, breaking 15 objects with Rhino in the very first mission of the game, unlocking all skills, and completing New Game Plus. Which means to unlock these, we have to move to Step 3, New Game Plus. So one of the suits is only available in New Game Plus, so we unlock that one almost right away. Then in the story mission, we make sure to smash into as many objects as possible so we hit at least 15. I actually think this one carries over from your previous playthrough because we only hit a few objects and then this trophy pops. And from there was pretty much all about completing the story again. Now generally, I'm not a fan of these trophies, especially if they don't even require you to do something different, such as games that have branching paths. Thankfully, the story isn't that long in Miles Morales, so you can go through it pretty quickly if you're ignoring the side quests. Now, for some reason though, a lot of the cutscenes can't be skipped, and this was really the most frustrating part about my second run, especially when you considered I had just played the story, so it was so fresh in my mind. What's even stranger is that some of the cutscenes can be skipped, but there's no way to know which ones without pausing the game and then looking to see if the skip cinematic option is there. Also, the trophy for unlocking all skills requires you to be at certain levels only possible by making your way through New Game Plus. All in all though, the second playthrough went much faster, even with me playing on the amazing difficulty. Alright, come on now, you didn't think I'd leave it on easy for the entire run of New Game Plus, did you? Don't answer that. Using a Saturday afternoon, we managed to unlock all the skills and eventually completed the game a second time to unlock trophy number 49. Which means we were then awarded the 50th and final trophy for Spider-Man Miles Morales, and this brings our overall trophy total to 62 platinum trophies. Guys, if you'd like to see more videos like this, please consider subscribing to the channel to help us reach 1,000 subscribers. These videos here would be great ones for you to check out next. As always, thank you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.
With great power comes great responsibility.